Hey guys, what's up? Pitmarthra here, and welcome to my Wii screen, otherwise known as the LP that we're starting here. And it's going to be wonderful, I assure you. So while this is rolling, I'll go ahead and talk about a little bit why I wanted to end up doing this. For those of you that have been watching my Let's Play for Mario Superstar Baseball, you know that I took a brief, or I am taking a brief break from that game because while it's very enjoyable, it is also repetitive because, you know, it's baseball games, and more baseball games in the midst of maybe a few mini games, but most of it's just baseball games. And I will admit that can get a bit repetitive, and so I wanted to switch it up with something else, something that's not only not as repetitive, I mean, even though it is a Mario game, and Mario games can be repetitive at times, I wanted something a little bit more action-y than baseball, because it's a little bit slow playing it, so I can only imagine how slow it feels watching it at times, especially real baseball. That happens more often than it should, but I kind of wanted a break from something. And the other reason I wanted to end up playing this game is the Mario Sunshine game runs through its little opening trailer here, which I am going to let it play because it will not replay when I start the game. But the reason that I wanted to end up playing this is because I've been having a really awful, well, not even awful, but having some really hard times in my life, not even like financially or anything, but I've had a lot of my family has been getting sick lately. I've had an aunt who's gotten diagnosed with dementia, and her husband's got anxiety, and then on the other side of my family, both of my grandparents on my mom's side are starting to lose their memory a bit. My granddad on my father's side is going in for heart surgery a few days from now, and his wife's obviously really anxious about that, so we're trying to help as much as we can on both sides of the family, so that's making me and my parents, well, my parents anxious, me more so just generally concerned, because, you know, I can only do so much when you're 20 years old. But, been dealing with that. I had a friend pass away recently that I was really close with. I had another friend who also recently stopped talking to me who was very close with me. So, just a lot of issues, and it's a way to block it out in a sense, which I'm not saying blocking out is the best way to do it, but sometimes you want to just take a break from life. And I've been playing this game a lot recently, which sounds kind of weird, because it's like if you wanted anything to relieve stress, why in the heck would you play Super Mario Sunshine? I don't really know. I kind of wanted to play it, and so I picked it up and started playing it, and then you've got this file right here that's got 68 Shine Sprites on it, and that's what I've been doing over the last couple days, so, yeah, that was basically why I decided to go ahead and do this LP. I've done Galaxy, I've done 64, I've done Galaxy 2, as in the number 2, not Galaxy as well. And this is kind of the one that I left out for now of the 2D ones. This is a little bit, or the 3D ones. It's kind of a black sheep, and it's got a few issues with it. The issues that I have are not usually the typical issues that most people have with it, but I do enjoy this game quite a bit. So, just going into options really quick, just letting you know my rumble is set to off in this. You don't need the rumble on for anything. I just want to make sure that the microphone doesn't pick it up. The sound I really don't care about, and the subtitles I'm keeping on because this game actually features voice acting. And kind of like the issue I've been having in Path of Radiance, it's a little quiet for some reason, so that's why the subtitles are on. You can't always hear it. Even if I wasn't talking over it, sometimes you have that issue, so I'll be keeping the subtitles on so you guys can read them. And trust me, you want them on. It's 5 stars. The voice acting in this game is beautiful, and I say that in the most sarcastic tone possible. Let's go ahead and erase this data right here. This is a bit of a practice to see how long each episode would take, so this is just going to be an intro video. I'll be getting the first Shine, you know, the one that's at the airstrip, but aside from that, I'm not going to be doing any of the other Shines. I'm going to be keeping the format relatively similar to how Super Mario 64 was, and then I'm going to try to do 1 world per video. And for those of you who played this before, when it comes to the blue coins, that's going to be saved for a separate area near the end. That'll probably be the last thing I do, or one of the last things, along with 100 coin shines, because unlike in Mario 64, where it kind of did make sense to split them up, in Mario Sunshine, whenever you collect 100 coin shine, you can't keep playing through the level. It'll actually throw you out of the level, so you can't get another one. So in this case, it kind of just makes sense to group them together. In addition, it's like some of the other issues that you've seen in... Oh wait, I gotta pause for this. This is beautiful.
What's this icky paint like goop? It's moving!
Oh, so good. And Peach is also an idiot because she thinks that that's Mario, even though Mario's standing right in front of her. She also goes a little bit cross-eyed here for a second. Yep, see right there, when she blinked, she kind of went cross-eyed a little bit. Oh, man. Yeah, well, yeah, now she just did the opposite. Her eyes kind of went farther apart. That was really weird. But yeah, I'm going to be doing the 100 coin shines later on as well in each video because some levels, like in Mario 64, you actually have to go back to when you have later things that are unlocked. As well as a few other instances. I can only think of one off the top of my head where you have to come back because there's something later that you get. But just so we're clear, that's why I'm going to be playing up through a level like in Mario 64 as much as I can, with the exception of the blue coins and the 100 coin shine, and I'm going to try to do that for each video. The missions do take longer. There will probably be occasional cuts, and I'll explain why when we get into the first level for a very particular reason, because there is a lot of repetitiveness because you have to go back into previous missions sometimes. But like I said, we'll get to that when we get to it. So, moving out here, just going over Mario's controls very quickly, you'll use the analog stick to move around. You can use the Y button to go into like an over-the-shoulder view because, as we all know, Mario's totally third-person over-the-shoulder shooter. X button will not do anything right now. With the B button, you can have Mario do a little Caesar dance if you want. Looks quite nice. With the A button, you can use have Mario jump. If you're running, you can do, well, no, not that. You can do a triple jump by pressing A 3 times in a row right when you hit the ground. That jump you saw a second ago, you can do a side jump by whenever you're running in one direction and you change very quickly. You'll see that little skid mark appear, and you can do a side jump like that. In addition, you can also do a move that is new to the Mario series, which is the spin jump, or new at this point in time. I don't think you've seen it anywhere else. You can rotate the analog stick and hit A to do a spin jump like that. It's actually surprisingly useful. You'll be using it relatively often. It does come in handy. You can use the left button to pull the camera back behind Mario, a la Ocarina of Time. You could use the C stick to move the camera out or in or around however much you like, within reason. Sometimes it doesn't always work with you, but in some cases you do get the full view, unlike you did with Mario 64, as it was an N64 platform. While we're up here on the plane, you can get a little bit of better look of the area. I think that's about all the controls I can do for now. You can hold down the... no, you can't actually right now. Yeah, it doesn't... Okay, so that's in a second, I guess. I think that's about it. You can use the Z button in order to pull up the menu. This will show you where what Isle Delfino looks like, where all the levels are in each area, even though they don't give you a good idea of where they are in the hub world. You can check your totals right here. This is the only thing I ever use it for. But that means that there is no long jump in this game. That's something a few people have issues with because, as you've seen in Mario 64, quite often the game was broken by long jumping, but in this game you'll get something to slightly balance it out, but it's something that people do not like, which is why it's not been in a Mario game since. Or that's one reason anyway. When you're in the water, you can press A to do a breaststroke whenever you're near an object. If you just hit A a couple times, you don't have to hit it rapidly. Eventually Mario will just try to jump out of the water for it. You can press B to dive under the water, but keep in mind you do have an air meter, so you can't stay down here forever. Unlike in Mario 64, you can't jump in the water to regain health because the air bar and the life bar are actually different. As you can see, the life bar right there was kind of a bluish color. There it is. It was a bluish color. Your actual life bar is kind of a yellow-orangey color, so just fair warning about that. As for the goop that you saw, you want to make sure that you don't run into this, because if you run into it, you'll obviously slip and slide, and if you get into this middle area, you'll actually take damage should you run into it, so you want to avoid doing that. You will also get paint on Mario, which is something that can happen. As you can see right here, it gives you kind of a decent idea. You can get that off of you just by jumping into any body of water, and it will eventually go away just like it did right there. So in order to get past that little thing of goo, you can either jump in the water and swim around it, or you can actually just walk right past it on the sides. Yeah, you can do it on the right side too. Either one works. But in order to clear up the goop, we're going to need something that will come in handy for pretty much the rest of the game, except when the game decides we won't need it. You'll see shortly. Now, they give you a little bit of tutorial on how to use this. I would pay attention to the bottom left corner here, because you actually get to see something kind of cool. Whenever it registers Mario's information, you can see old school Mario games play in the background. There's Mario World right there fighting the first boss. There's Mario 64 fighting Bowser for what looks like it was the first. I think that was Bowser in the Dark World, but I'm not sure. It might have been. No, that was definitely Bowser in the Dark World, because you had Fire, Sea, and then the Sky. And the Sky was kind of a greenish color, so yeah, that was definitely Dark World. That's so sad that I know that, isn't it? So yes, this is FLUDD. This is kind of your water pack. It's also a water jet pack as well. It's kind of cool, but at the same time I see why people hate it. Because this game was an early GameCube game, relatively early. A lot of the time stuff doesn't work the way it's supposed to, which isn't a big problem whenever it happens a couple times in games, because, you know, glitches are always fun. It happens a lot in this game. Like, a lot, and it can kind of be an issue. This game's got a pretty big curb in difficulty. Like, it takes a while to get used to it, I'm not gonna lie. So as they explained right here, you can use the R button to spray water from the nozzle. I think they went over the hover nozzle a little bit, but I'll actually go over the legitimate control since I was talking over it. So, how FLUDD works is you can use the R button to spray water, and whenever you click it all the way down, you'll actually stand in place and aim at a different angle. You can also use the Y button and go into the over-the-shoulder view and spray water that way, which is what I prefer. If it's not pressed all the way down the R button, that is, you can move around while squirting water. In addition to this, you can also, if you hit R and A at the same time, you get like this boost of water like that, which will just kind of go everywhere, which is really good for cleaning off surfaces. Whenever you do the spin, you can also hold down the R button to get a stream of water kind of going in all directions for a brief moment, which is very useful. You can hold down the R button and do a triple jump if it's not held down all the way. So it gives you pretty decent control even whenever you're, you know, just platforming as it is, but don't always hold it down because you don't want to waste the water. In order to get water back, just go into a body of water and then hold down the R button and it will fill it up automatically. Now that we've actually got it, because it wouldn't let us do it earlier, you can hold down the L button and do like a little sidestep seizure dance for whenever you want to get funky. You know, why wouldn't you want to get funky? To switch nozzles, just press X. This will take you to the hover nozzle. These are the only two nozzles you'll have, but more can be unlocked later. The hover nozzle will basically allow you to hover for a short time, so it's kind of your spin jump from Mario Galaxy, or maybe even your long jump from Mario 64, bro. This will enable you to recover from a lot of areas that you would otherwise die in, so definitely does come in handy. So let's go ahead and get started. As you can see, there was a guy here that kind of sunk into the goop completely somehow, and it apparently also changed the surface of the land. Not sure how that works, but more of that whenever we get in here. I really thought I was a goner. Hey, hang on, it's you. This whole mess is your fault. Wait, no it's not. I just got here, man. In case you're paying attention to the story, Mario, Peach, and Toadsworth have decided they need a well-earned vacation, but as we all know, things in the Mario universe, Mario can't just have a vacation. He's always got to be working on saving the princess, because you know inevitably she'll get kidnapped. Right here we have a paint monster. This is a mini-boss you'll be seeing particularly a lot at the start of the game. However, it's very, very easy to beat. It will open its mouth, and every time it opens its mouth, all you have to do is shoot water in its mouth. Don't even have to hold down the button. As long as a small pixel of water gets inside its mouth, it will take damage. Do it 3 times and it will be defeated, and you'll get your first Shine Sprite of the game, not a star. They are actually different, and I guarantee I'll be saying star at least once because I make that mistake quite often. So as you could expect, similar to Mario 64, there are 120 of these things scattered throughout the world, and we'll be collecting them. But what's exactly going on here? Well, we're about to find out, and not in a good way. This is a very funny scene, though. This is one of my favorites, so I'll be quiet for this.
Quite an unusual device. Is it some sort of pump?
I am FLUDD, glad to meet you. Hey, someone's coming.
Court is now in session.
As you are no doubt aware, someone has been senselessly defacing fair Isle Delfino using some paint-like substance. The accused is charged with polluting our beautiful home, and yes, endangering our very way of life. Indeed, how can one not be aware of what is going on?
We can. We just got here.
Our poor residents tremble beneath a veil of darkness. Expert Shine Scholars have
Expert Shine Scholars, yeah. I'm not going to keep quiet over this. This is, as you can tell, we're in court right here, and this is glorious. This is the defense's opening statement to be putting it into court terms for those of you that have played Phoenix Wright or have actually been in court. Which I have not. I haven't gotten into jury duty for the sole reason that if you're a full-time student, they're not allowed to, wait, what? Yeah, that clearly is... Yeah, that's it. We got a guilty verdict for sure.
Objection!
Overruled. I judge the defendant guilty as charged. I hereby order the defendant to clean this entire island. Until Isle Delfino is completely free of his vile handiwork, Mario shall not be allowed to leave. Court adjourned.
Okay, that is not how court works. The defense does not present its opening statement, and then all of a sudden, or the prosecution does not just give their opening statement, and then the judge just calls a guilty verdict. That's not how it works. You have to have evidence, not a sketch. That sketch is clearly not definitive evidence. There was no witnesses called. There was no jury, which really doesn't make sense.
Sprite.
Like, there should at least have been a
Shine
jury,
Sprites
but
power
yeah.
on Delfino.
One of the worst court cases you'll ever see, more rigged than any trial probably ever in the history of the world.
Has polluted the island and most of the Shine Sprites have fled.
Also, they can't just outright arrest you. Like, they need grounds and they kind of have it. Like, they can take you in for questioning, but they can't just outright arrest you.
The only way to ensure the
Like, if I just pretended to have something stolen, or if I actually had something stolen from me, and I just, like, drew a sketch of somebody I didn't like, they can't just go and arrest that person just because I drew a sketch that doesn't even really look like them. Like, it kind of did, but it's Mario. Mario's, like, famous all over the Mushroom Kingdom. That would be like me saying, like, oh yeah, my iPod got stolen, and then I just, like, go and draw a picture of Obama, and it's like, Obama took it, go arrest him, and then all of a sudden Obama's in jail. It does not make any sense. It's really stupid. But that's kind of why I like it. I kind of like not the plot, but I like the bad voice acting at least. Because, let's be honest, if it was really good, we'd be wondering why we hadn't seen it since, in another game at least, because, you know, you've got the cartoon and whatnot. But the fact it's bad shows you why games do not need voice acting. I mean, you've got, like, their babble in the Mario and Luigi games and whatnot, but it's terrible, and that's why I like it. I don't think the game would be as good as I don't think the game would be as good if the voice acting was terrible. So, as you can tell, we are charged with cleaning all of Isle Delfino, and we're going to be starting with getting rid of this little octopus logo that's right here. However, you don't really have to spray all of it. What you need to do is get the center area. As you can tell, it's kind of leaving a little bit of a spot where it's higher up, there's more goop than usual. And you'll be fighting the same mini-boss again here. The only difference this time is you'll have these little paint things that will charge at you. Whenever they get close, they'll make a jumping attack at you, which I'm going to try to show right here. Like that. And then whenever they land, then they will drop paint on the ground. So they're basically like suicide bombers. They're actually weaker than Goombas are, because whenever they actually land, they will die. So you can jump on them just like a regular Goomba too, if you want. They're not incredibly difficult to beat, but of course it's just the first area right here. Really shouldn't be expecting anything super crazy hard. So somehow that statue is being hidden amidst the goop. Peach is still an idiot because she still thinks that's Mario, even though it's clearly not him. And Peach stands completely still and gets kidnapped, and her umbrella disappears, because why not? The kidnapper stopped the criminal in the tracks with some water. Yeah, that's right. In order to beat this criminal, or whoever this might be, we just need to spray them with water. This is not very difficult. I might go ahead and show the pattern, depending on how long he lasts here, of where he moves. He basically just goes in this little... Oh, no, he's already dead. And you can beat him much faster than that, too. That was not very difficult, but either way. Mario, I'm sure I saw that person out on the airstrip. I'm positive he's responsible for all this chasing. So yeah, he'll basically go back down this area again, and then he'll just repeat the same pattern. I beat you here! Hey! What a jerk. Alright, whatever. So he escaped into the graffiti. Mario tries spraying it with water. And just like that, we've opened up the portal to the first world, and I'm actually going to end things off here. By the way, I do like how they did the portals, because it's graffiti and it's paint. And in Mario 64, you jumped into the paintings, now you're jumping into the graffiti, which is kind of painting, kind of not. Really cool idea, but either way, we'll be heading into World 1 next time on Let's Play Super Mario Sunshine. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys then. Later!